Hi, how are you? Doc Holliday. Welcome to the fifth quarter of the Memphis Showboat Show with Showboat's head coach Todd Haley. I am Doc Holliday, and this right here, I'm touching him. Coach don't like to be touched, but he cool. This is Coach Todd Haley. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us for the first episode of the fifth quarter Memphis Showboat Show.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. Now, Coach, hey, look,
it's
man.
game week. The focus is there, so you're going to have to tee me up a few times.
No, I don't have to tee you up, man, because people don't know. We went through this last week, and it was excellent. So I don't have to tee you up. You get going. But speaking about getting going, training camp is over. It is game week, preparation week for Philadelphia Stars. So how is this week different than what we had going on during training camp?
Well, number one, it's more exciting. I mean, I love training camp, but it is a grind, and you get to that last day of training camp. You kind of know now. I gave the players Easter off, and then we were back at it yesterday, and now you're game planning. Practice changes significantly because now the defense is servicing the offense is serving the defense from a card standpoint. You're drawing cards. You're doing a lot more work, but you know the plays that you want to practice. You know the defenses you're going against, or vice versa. You know the blitzes you're going to see. You know the blitzes you want to run. So totally different landscape, really, than training camp, where you're just going against each other and going against your team. So now you're planning for the Philadelphia Stars, and they're a good team, and they got a lot of the same people back, a lot of the same coaches. So. We have film to watch, which is great. Anytime you can watch, we can watch us play them last year. We can watch them play in the championship game. You got some legitimate things to look at, and it makes for a more exciting week knowing that there's a game on the horizon.
Now, for people that don't know, cars. We ain't talking about little flash cars like kindergarten. We talk about the big cars, but that takes an adjustment as far as players trying to read those cards and know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and it's, you try to stress to the players. I mean, this has been going on forever, but, there's guys that understand to read the card, number one. Coaches are very particular. We put depths where we want people to line up, where on the field, as far as the hashes or the numbers go. All those things are critical because you're looking at tape to draw those cards and try to give the appropriate looks that you can prepare for. Because, we as coaches, we're creatures of habit. You always look at a team's first game last year because they're going to generally go through training camp the way they went through it last year, plan accordingly, and you'll glean a lot of information out of that. But, yeah, you got to have guys that aren't used to doing something that now have to do it.
Now, I got to ask you, sir, because you're a great offensive mind. This is something personal to me, Coach, because I never understood when I was, playing football, especially in the NFL. We get the playbook, and, you have one play, it has 10 different names. Help me understand, why do you all do that? Because I said, this is the same play, it just got 10 different names, man.
Well, we've simplified things a lot through the years. We've gone a little bit like college has in code words. But one word really tells everybody what to do. It tells the line what the protection is. It tells the receivers what the routes are. It tells the back his protection. In the run game, the same thing goes. So we've really simplified it, and we've realized that these young guys, they respond to that very well, as opposed to big, long verbiage calls. In this league with the time clock and how fast everything moves, you can't afford to have delays and cost yourself 5 yards. So we've really made it efficient, and the players seem to like it and respond well.
Talk about this group of players, Coach, because you can dress 40, then you got 10 inactive. So the team has come together because it is kickoff time. It's time to knock some heads.
Yeah, I mean, I told the guys, I said there's 50 dogs and only 40 bones. So what's your easiest way to make sure you're one of the guys that gets a uniform on game day is, number one, can you contribute on special teams? And we got a great special teams coach in Frank Gans Jr., does a great job, but really, you have some key core guys that are going to be starters for you, but the rest of that mix and those bones that are floating around and the dogs are fighting for them, it creates a great atmosphere because guys get really competitive, and they understand that if they're not dressed, they're making less money. It's not as much fun. You're not getting to play in the game. You don't want to be one of those guys. I don't want to be the coach that has to go to them and say, you're not dressing this week. So, but it is what it is, and it's a difficult thing to go through, but it also creates a lot of inspiration for guys to go out there and practice hard and do things the right way.
How excited are you, man? The kickoff time is here.
I'm really excited. I'm happy we got a few more days, because, we got to go through the process. Today's a third down day, and tomorrow we'll work red zone and some of the other situational things. But, you always want a few more days, but we'll be going on Saturday at 3:30, and I'm really excited to be, home. It sounds like there's a lot of interest has been generated. I've done a few different things where a lot of people have showed up and look like they're excited to be part of this, and then it's going to come down to us going out there and figuring out a way to win a game.
Now, your offensive philosophy, I know what you've been doing, but we talked about this. I'm a running back. I like to tote that pill. But your offensive philosophy, Coach, throwing, running.
Whatever gives you the best chance to win. When I was the head coach in Kansas City, we didn't have an elite quarterback. We had a couple elite running backs in Jamal Charles and Thomas Jones, and we led the league in rushing. When I was in Arizona, we went to Super Bowl leaning on our pass game because we had Kurt Warner, Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald, Steve Breston, and we had 3,000-yard receivers that year. So, and then Pittsburgh was kind of brought everything together because we had a really good running back, really good running game with Le'Veon Bell in our line, and we had a really good passing game and a big-time quarterback. So, I think that's the clearest picture of, you play however you have to play to win. I don't want to ever pigeonhole myself. You might say, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to try to run it 20 times in the first half, but, situation may dictate that you can't do that. So, coaching is about adjusting and figuring out ways to have success.
And that's what makes you a great coach, and that's what's going to make this a great show. Now, it's time for a quick timeout, but when time is back in, more the fifth quarter, the Memphis Showboats coach, Todd Haley, Memphis Showboat Show, with me and he and you all. We'll be back.